I'm Eric Parker. This morning on CT21, Connecticut communities are under attack by brazen car thieves, many of them juveniles. They're taking their crimes to the next level. They're firing bullets at homeowners. They're taunting police. When and how can they be stopped? A police chief goes on the record on why his officers are limited in what they can do, and two local legislators are talking about the laws on the books now and what needs to change to deter these young criminals in the future. Plus, we're going one-on-one with Congressman Jim Himes. He has a new role in Washington. He's talking about that, the January 6th insurrection, and hundreds of jobs coming to his district. It's all this Sunday morning, July 18th. CT21 starts right now.
From Channel 3, this is Connecticut's most watched current affairs program, CT21, with Eric Parker, sponsored by Hartford Healthcare.
Good morning. People are scared. They're frustrated. They don't understand how so many car thefts are happening with what seems to be few repercussions for the juveniles behind the crimes. And these are serious crimes. A man died in New Britain, hit by a stolen car. A woman was nearly shot when she shouted at people trying to break into her car. That happened in Glastonbury. Here to talk about these crimes and why there are limitations in what law enforcement can do is Woket Police Chief Edward Stevens. Chief Stevens, thank you for being with us. We know your community saw a case where a car was taken with a child inside. So what are you seeing? Is this still a big problem all over our state?
Yes, absolutely. It's a big problem, Eric. The thing is, these juveniles that are stealing these cars and committing crimes, I have a list here of all recent crimes that were committed by juveniles, including people dying. They know there's no repercussions for their actions. A lot of times we will get them. We try to have a take into custody order done. And even when that is done, they're only in there till their court date, then they're let go. There's nowhere to house them or, keep an eye on them. When they back when they closed down the CJTS, when they changed all the juvenile laws around, which was good. I could understand why they had done that, but there was nothing for these kids to do. Nothing was set in place to take care of the kids doing these crimes, where there's repercussions to pay. Just a few of the things. I just want to show how serious this is. It's going on throughout the whole state. Stanford, May 8th, 2 teens, they shot and killed a man. Stratford, May 22nd, 4 teens were arrested shooting at a home in a vehicle. In Glastonbury, July 2nd, about the woman that you just mentioned got shot at. New Britain, the gentleman killed by a car. Waterbury, yesterday, juveniles were ripping up the library park on quads and motorcycles. We had the kidnapping in Woket. We had the senior center. Enfield, July 4th, a stolen vehicle out of Southbury, breaking into cars. They had to use stop strips to stop the car. February 2019, a teen was found guilty of manslaughter after driving a stolen car into a woman at a bus stop. There are people losing their lives throughout the state because of juveniles, juvenile crime. And again, we're not talking about kids that are just, it's their first time for stealing a candy bar. We're talking about habitual juveniles that know nothing can happen to them. My officers, they were laughing at them after the senior center, and they just stole the car there. It's a joke.
So let me break it down for our viewers. Can you explain the difference? I'm 41. If I get arrested for stealing a car, how is it different compared to someone who's 16?
Well, what they're going to do, number one, is look at your record. Okay, if it's your first offense, anything could happen, whether you're going to be held on bond or released on a promise to appear. If you have a record, you've done this several times, you're going to be held in a detention center until your case, unless you make bond. Then you can possibly be going to prison. Okay, if you have a record of assaults, of shootings, of stealing other cars, you're going to go and you're going to do time. These kids are not doing time. There is not a lockdown facility in the state of Connecticut for juveniles. It used to be Connecticut Juvenile Training School, where I know some people said how bad it was, and I'm sure it is for some kids. But a lot of those kids that are there are getting the health, if they need medication or they need some type of physical health care, they're getting 3 meals a day. They had fields down there. They were getting some type of supervision along with counseling and help. It doesn't seem to happen now. We have a group home in the town here where the kids, they're supposed to be helping troubled kids. What I mean by trouble, they're coming from bad families or neglected or abused. Now, DCF would place kids in these types of homes. once CJTS closed down, they have nowhere to house the kids that are the habitual criminals. Though they're now mixing these kids, they're telling these homes, you have to take these children. They're mixing them in with kids coming from troubled homes. It's not a good mixture. And again, people are losing their lives, both victims and these kids.
So you obviously have the firsthand experience of what's happening out there. But really, when it comes to changing laws, you're the same as me. You got to go to the ballot box in November. We have a couple of legislators coming up in our next segment. So I'd ask you, if you had to put together a wish list, as I know you and the Police Chiefs Association probably has presented, what would you like to see? I mean, from your perspective, what do you want these lawmakers to consider?
Well, we went a couple of years ago up to Hartford to Chief Spagnola from the Waterbury Police Department, along with Senator Hartley, Representative Reyes, and Cummings, to try to change the law. So after three strikes, after the third conviction of stealing a car, and a lot of these shootings and all the other crimes are coming from stealing the cars. After that, they're tried as an adult, where they would go to jail, where they would have to come up with bond. Again, it's not after the first, second time, 3 times we have to do something. That's what we'd like to start off with, where there is a penalty for these kids, multiple times stealing cars or committing crimes.
Obviously, these actions that we've been talking about, I mean, you read off that long list, which certainly is sobering. It's got to be dangerous for officers around the state as well. Is it something, especially if you're working evenings or working midnights when a lot of these crimes happen, is it something officers are amped up about right now?
Well, I don't want to say amped up, but the thing is, if someone stole a car and I'm standing out in front of the police department right now and there's juveniles or anyone in the car, number one, when they drive by and we know it's a stolen car, we cannot chase that car. We just can pretty much wave to that car. And again, we don't really want to be chasing that car because these kids stealing the cars don't have licenses. They never took driving lessons. They're a menace on the roadway, and I would say people are going to die. They are already killing people. So you don't want to really chase them. It's very frustrating is what happens. Again, we have these kids who break into the senior center, cause thousands of dollars of damage, go out and steal a car. We catch them with the stuff they stole and everything else. They were laughing at us because they know nothing's going to happen. It's very frustrating for officers on the road seeing this occur. And it's frustrating that the victims have no satisfaction. And again, what I hate is the back and forth between the two parties. This is a safety issue for everyone involved. They must get together to remedy this situation. There have to be consequences for the actions. My 4-year-old grandson knows if he does wrong, there's consequences.
Well, I heard you say frustrating a number of times in that last answer. And talking about the two parties, we'll have a representative of each party coming up just after this break. Chief Edward Stevens, we appreciate you being with us, and obviously wish you and your officers continued good luck there at the Wolcott Police Department. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much, Eric. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Coming up next, we continue our conversation on this very topic, these car break-ins, with 2 of our state's leading lawmakers. We're digging into the laws, the ones on the books now, and ones that just might be needed in the future to put an end to this violence. Stay with us. We'll be right back.